So the big thing we talked about for connection was directional intent. So the goal was we always want the follow to have a direction they're moving. So for instance, when we're in tension, you're always moving away from me. And that was kind of the position we always get to. So before we move, she's always moving away, and then when I send her, she's moving this way until I stop her. Right? The drill we did to practice this, I actually didn't give it a name, but I'll give it to you now because it's kind of funny. I don't know if you guys have these, but they have these little barking dogs in toy stores that you wind them up and they just keep walking away and they run to the wall and they keep walking. So it's like I have the leash and you're the barking dog. So we start your motor, and so we said start her motor, she's walking away from you. So if I were to let go, she's actually moving a little bit, right? It's only a little bit. We don't want it to be so much that's pulling you over. So it's not so strong that she's pulling me. It's not so light that if I let go, it's neutral. We don't want that. So it's just, again, you can see there's no tension right now, but she's going to start the motor, walk away. This is the feeling I always expect to feel from her at the end of our patterns and tension. And so now, when I'm ready, I should be able to walk to her and she should be able to fill this, no slack. I should be able to speed up and she should be able to speed up, or I should be able to slow down and we can maintain that. The two ways we get slack are if she doesn't have enough direction tension. So the two ways we get slack is if she's in neutral and I walk toward her, there's slack, or if she's going backwards and I'm being a jerk and I go too fast and do stuff like that. So it is equal responsibility. It's a great drill to practice. The other thing we did was we do this at the end of patterns as a drill. It's not how we dance as a drill. So I would stop on 4 and you would start that drill. So under our pass, 1, 2, 3, and 4, we stop and she has the motor going. So I should go walk with her to do this. Then eventually we got to the point where we just dance this in the pattern. Okay, this way. So I do an underarm pass and I expect to feel that from her at the end. So 2, 3, and 4, 5, and 6, I have directional intent. The reason I know is because now I can travel the anchor because she has directional intent that whole time. All of these, I can travel the anchor. I don't have to travel the anchor, but I still have that feeling always for you, right? The other thing we talked about is the same as compression. So compression is just me resisting the direction in the front. So if I center, again, she keeps this speed the whole time until we get to compression, and then we redirect, and we send her away. And now she's going that way until we stop. We got a little more specific on compression. We talked about sometimes you were compressing with your arms in, starting a little too close. We wanted you to actually reach for it a little bit because we can feel compression out in front of us and still have this direction. So there's a difference between the force we feel and the actual direction we're moving. So we always find connection in the hand, and then we use the body for the redirection. This became even more complicated. There were a lot to it. We got to little things like what a sugar protection looks like. So what we did is we talked about, I lead her, we're walking, we have this compression. Then when I bring my arms in first, when the wall stops, she can go in. I redirect her, she goes out, and then my hands go out with her. So the accordion goes like this. The follow comes in straight on her, my arm goes in, then she compresses, then we send her away and she pulls my arm out. This allows us to always have a constant force. So again, we feel compression. Right here, I feel tension, and then we let her go. And it's always the follower's job to find the connection, right? Your whole thing is like, if you don't feel connection, you just keep going in that direction until you find connection. That's going to make you feel better. It's going to make your leads feel better for you. So that was huge. Another drill we did for this was an underarm close. So with an underarm close position, I can stop her in anchor, I can travel the anchor, or I can touch her and trace her back. And it's her job to not stop when she's touched. So for instance, sometimes you'll just touch a follow, and they'll just stop. And that's not what we want, that's not momentum. So we want to train the follows to keep the momentum going. So when I lead you, your job is to keep going. So if I stop you, I actually stop you. But if I don't stop you, you just keep going. And we trace and you're like, oh, now we're there. This is really nice because you're training leads to actually respond to your connection. You don't want to train the lead that, oh, if I touch you, you'll listen to me. You want to train them to actually resist your way, so they can be good leads and treat you better as followers. The goal as a follow, I said, is you do everything right, so it's always the lead's fault when something goes wrong. Because you're just following exactly as they left. It's usually our brains that mess up, not the follows. The last thing we talked about was anchoring also as a result of the connection. So there are times when we were doing the anchor that we were just opening up because we knew we needed to. I want to see a result of the connection. So I'm going to turn you toward the camera. So when I do this, if I were to hold both hands, we wouldn't open up because there's no reason to. But if we're going away from each other really strong and then we let go, we naturally open up because we only have this side of the connection. Right? So in a sugar group, it's the same thing happens. 1, 2, 3, and 4. If this is all it has, she opens up. If I were to travel the anchor, she wouldn't open up because her job is to travel backwards. 1, 2, 3, and 4. She's going to go